Hello, hello, hello. This is Adelai Brown, your heart coach, and I want to welcome you to episode 2 of the HeartLine with Adelai Brown. I am so excited to be here with you today. I'm so excited to be doing this work with you. I'm so excited for us to be on this journey together. As you know, I am your heart coach and we grow heart equity. What is that? Personal, relational, and financial wealth that is cultivated and developed through authentic living. I truly believe that we are in a deficit in our world right now of people who are willing to be honest and truthful about how they're feeling and what they're going through in their life. And I'm on a mission to bring more accessibility, authenticity, vulnerability, and tools that we can use in order to be all of those things and more. So I'm just thankful for us to be here together today. I'm just thankful for us to be going along this journey of hard work together. And, I'm just really excited about just the work that we're doing and that we're going to continue to do. Um, when I talk about doing hard work, heart for me, it's an acronym, and I have various words that I use when I'm describing what heart means to me. But as for today, where I am today, heart is an acronym that stands for honesty, enlightenment, authenticity, revitalization, and transformation. Now, as we go through the season, as you hear me talking, I may interchange those letters. But typically, when you hear me talk about hard work, this is the type of work that we're doing. Hard work. We're being honest, we're being enlightened, we're being authentic, we're being revitalized for transformational living. Because I don't know about you, but I know that I came from a space in my life and still working through. I don't want to be where I used to be. I don't want to feel like I used to feel. When I was pregnant at 17 years old, I felt worthless. Even raising my kids, being a married wife with children, there were many times that I felt worthless. You know why? Because I didn't have a true value of myself. I was valuing myself and validating myself through the lens of other people. And so this podcast, this show is a space for us to come together and be honest. Let's be honest about how we feel. Let's be honest about where we are. Many times in life we make decisions out of insecurity. We are trying to prove to ourselves and others that we are better than what we feel. Because if we would be honest about the thoughts that we have on the inside of us, many of us don't think much of ourselves. We speak very harshly and negatively to ourselves. And we say mean and nasty things to ourselves and about the people that we love. All because we don't have a good system, or we don't have a good grasp on where we are right now. I like to tell my clients and just individuals that I'm working with, we need to always have a GPS in our life. And I guess my question for you right now is, where are you? In the GPS of life, where are you? Do you know your location? Is your location available to other people, or have you made your location private? Are you the type of person that you are always there for everybody else, but when it's time for you to get help, you don't ask for help? And even if you ask for help, you don't make room for people to actually give it to you. Where are you? Where are you in your life right now? Are you proud of yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you love where you are right now? Because I can tell you, like, growing heart equity for me is a very personal, it's the way I live my life. And I invite you, Heart Tribe, into this. I look at heart equity as like a garden. It's like a property. You got a big piece of property. I'm a realtor by trade. So I got a big piece of property, and growing heart equity on this property, as far as the Heart Tribe is concerned, I'm inviting you into the garden, inviting you in to the plethora of fruits and vegetables and other goodies that are out there. And this is a garden that is grown through us being authentic, through us being honest, through us being willing to confront the pain, the fear, the doubts, and the worries that we have been running from for years. Getting on to be able to even do this podcast has been such a battle, such a mental and emotional battle. I have to fight through my value and my worth. When I go back and check and it's like one view, two views, I know why I'm doing this, but I have to remind myself, even if it's not for us now, if it's for us 10, 15, 20 years from now, it might not even be for you. It might be, this podcast might be something for you to listen to with your grandchildren or great grandchildren down the line. But I'm telling you, you are worthy. You are important because if you were not, you would not be catching all the hell that you catching. Because I caught some hell to get on here today. I just caught some hell through life to even be here. But we here. We still breathing. We're still moving. Why? Because we got work to do. We got work to do. So the first thing we got to do is, where are you? You got to figure out your location. Where are you? I think a lot of times, and this is true even when we talk about getting directions, a lot of times we don't really check to see where we are until we're trying to go someplace. But I'm asking you to check and see where you are before you even try to go someplace. Because if you get more clear about your current location, you might not even want to go to that next destination that you had in mind. Maybe you want to go in a different direction. Maybe you don't even want to go any place because you didn't even know you are currently where you are. You thought you were someplace else. There have been so many times that I've been hard on myself and harsh on myself, and I had to realize how far I have come and how much worse it could have been. But I got to stay focused. And I used to pay too much attention to where I'm going, where everybody else is going. But what I have found is the most important thing you can do in your life is figure out your current location. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, where are you? Who are you? Who are you? Do you know who you are? Do the people around you really know who you are? Or do they just continuously get your representative? Are they constantly getting the person you think they want or the person you're choosing to present versus who's really in there? Can the real you please stand up? I have found in my life when I was 18 living on the project with my baby, I didn't know where my life was going to go. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know. But I knew I wanted more than what I had at that time. But I was afraid to dream because it felt like every time I dreamt about anything, I was so disappointed. But everything changed for me when I developed a relationship with Christ. Now, I grew up in the church. I got baptized at 6 years old. I vaguely remember having like spiritual experiences as a kid. I just remember knowing that Jesus was real and he was the Son of God. And I knew the Holy Spirit was real. I knew they were all separate, but all one. And I couldn't understand that. But I knew it was true. I just knew it. So when it was time to get baptized, I wanted to get baptized. Now, another thing is we used to be hungry in church. So I wanted to get baptized too because I wanted to be able to take communion because in my little brain, that little wafer and that little bit of wine, because it was still wine back then, that was going to fill me until dinner after church, right? But I've always had, like, when I started developing a relationship with Christ when I was about 20, 21 years old, just about to turn 21, I had a spiritual awakening, I guess you could say, where Christ presented himself to me in my living room. And I feel like, and that was in 2003. So this is 2025. So that was 22 years ago. And I feel like for the past 22 years, Jesus has been wooing me in, constantly trying to remind me how much he loved me, how much he cared about me. Even if my mama didn't do it, my daddy didn't do it, the men in my life didn't do it, Jesus was trying to let me know he's doing it. He's always done it. But I limited Christ and the power of the Holy Spirit by people. I limited Christ by what I saw people doing and how people treated me and acted with me and interacted with me. And so for years, I like tried to fit a mold. I tried to be good enough. I tried to get in the church and get active in the church and raise my children in church and try to be a good wife and try to do all of those things. But like I can say, over those 22 years, I'm back to where are you? I'm back to where are you? I often think about how I go back and forth. I talked with you guys last week about losing my mom and going through the hard work process. And, I think about often, I think about how my, I never ever thought my mom and I could have the level and the connection and a relationship that we had at the time of her passing. And as hurtful as it is to miss her, especially to miss her with us being so close. Because I think about people who, it's a lot of people. You listening to me right now, you don't like your mama, but you act like you do. You very angry with her, very upset with her, but you act like you do, right? You real angry with your father, but you act like you don't. But it shows up in your relationships. It shows up. Um, It shows up in your relationships. It shows up in your health. It shows up in your business, your professionalism or the lack thereof. It shows up in how you show up in like with your friends, with your neighbors. So all I'm saying with the Heartline, that's what it is. It's just the Heartline. It make me. I'm old school. I grew up when they still had hotlines you could call on the phone with phones that did not look like this, right? You could call a hotline, call into the radio, call on and get some information, share who you are, let people know what's up with you. Like, and when I think about the Heartline, it's like this is a space for us to know that this is a line where your heart is always welcome. I'm asking where you are because your heart is struggling right now. Our bodies were never designed to deal with the level of stress you deal with on a daily basis. And you lie and say you're okay when people ask you. And I get it. You like, well, ain't no need to complain. It ain't going to change nothing. But there is a need to tell the truth because it will. There is a need to focus more on what you want versus what's in front of you. Because when you change the things that you're looking at, the things that you're looking at when you change the way you look at the things you're seeing begin to change. I thought that I could perform. I thought that if I could just sell enough houses, or even when I was still working in doctor's office, if I could just get a promotion and a raise, I got out of healthcare because I realized that in order for me to get higher well, it's different now, but at that moment, I said, wow, every office I found myself in, it's like I hit the ceiling of how far I could go without having to get another degree or figure something else out. Well, now as a businesswoman and coach and consultant, I know I didn't max out. I could own the practice. I don't have to be a doctor to own the practice. And I'm still working on doing something like that. But I know that I've always been driven and always been focused to move forward. But a lot of that had to do with, yes, I'm smart. Yes, I can do things. But a lot of that had to do with, I just was so insecure. I've been trying to find ways to validate me. I talk about that in my book, Help Save Me from My Broken Heart. When I got married, I feel like my husband is almost like he did me a favor. Like I wasn't worthy of being a wife. It's like he did it because he felt sorry for me. That's not why he did it, but that's how I felt. Because my father, I've never been a big priority in his life. So if you're not a priority in your parents' life, especially a girl with her dad, it's hard to believe that other people will prioritize you, especially when they don't have those titles. I realized that when my mom got pregnant with me and she dealt with the things that she had to deal with, what you probably don't know this, go research it for yourself. Children carry the trauma of their mothers in utero. So you will say things like, I always been like this. This just always been my personality. It wasn't. You weren't designed to be like that. But that's as far back as you know you've been like that because you in the womb. The enemy was trying to alter your ego. The enemy was trying to alter your plan. The enemy was trying to stop you from doing what you're doing or what you're moving towards doing right now. And you got to go forward. Today, me recording this podcast, I almost didn't do it. I'm being honest with you that I was really inundated with thoughts of this isn't good enough. You're not good enough. Nobody wants to hear that. The devil is a liar because I know it's somebody out there that's giving your all to everybody else. You checking off all the boxes. You doing everything they told you to do and you still feel like shit. It's okay. I promise you it's okay. I promise you that you don't have to go through that like that no more. You don't. But you got to be willing to make some changes. You know what I realize? When we are in situations, because we still talking about your GPS. Where's your location? You located you in a messed up situation right now. Now what you gonna do? A lot of us, because we're so concerned about what people think about us, what people gonna say about us, how are people perceiving us, what's the buzz? Can I advance? Can I grow? Like a lot of us are so focused. We think that if we get that house, we get that car, we get that dollar amount, if we get those friends, then that feeling of inadequacy, that feeling of not enough is going to go away. It is not going to go away. That's why you got to work on it from the inside out. Where are you? Where are you? Really? Where are you? See, we out here, we outside. It's summertime. I'm outside. Or I'm blessed and highly favored in the Lord. Or this or that or whatever. I'm okay. I just got to do what I got to do. Ain't no need to complain. You could say all that foolishness. It ain't going to change nothing. You got to be willing to make change. And let me tell you something change is uncomfortable. Change will make you terrified because change means you got to let go of the identity that you currently have. I don't have enough. It's too hard. I can't do it. That's all associated with the identity, the lie identity that you have right now. Shout out to Myron Golden. This lie identity that you have, you not enough. You can't do it. People like you don't get to places like that. It's not going to work out for you. Or you might be believing, well, it can't work out for you because it's working out for this person. It can't work out for you because of all the things you did in your past. You got to forgive yourself. You got to forgive them, but you got to be willing to be uncomfortable for you to get to the location you want to get. You in a certain location, but to get to that destination, you're going to have to be uncomfortable. You're going to go through some stuff you don't want to go through. You're going to be very frustrated. You're going to lose some people in this process. Yes, you are. Because a lot of people cannot handle you whole. Let me say this in a different way. We're all whole. Psalm 139 tells us that we were fearfully and wonderfully made. We were carefully knit in our mother's womb. That means God put your nose, the nostrils you have, the eye, all of those things were intricately woven together while you were being formed in your mother's womb. But many of us have been raised with this idea that we're inadequate, we're broken, we're not enough. So we go through our life trying to overcompensate and make up for what we feel like we don't have. That's the brokenness. That's the feeling of brokenness. We feel like we don't have certain things or we aren't certain things. And therefore it brings a feeling of disconnect. But it's just a feeling. It's not the truth. It's not a reality. The reality is you're whole. When you put an acorn, a little seed in the ground, you put it in the right environment, a big, great old oak tree comes out of that acorn. You don't have to add anything else to that acorn, just like you in your mama's womb as the acorn. You in your mama's womb, the acorn. And as a acorn don't need nothing added to it to be an oak tree outside of water, sunlight, and the right soil. See, we so focused on trying to alter our seed instead of embracing all we are. And then the other thing we have to be more intentional about is our environment. You checked your location, but where are you? Is this environment a healthy environment for you to grow, for you to thrive? You're already whole. But let me tell you how I see that. God gave me this revelation, and maybe I heard somebody say this, but at my quiet time earlier this week, I heard this, and it was like, you're whole. And it's just like you living in a house. Like right now, I live in a house that has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. We got an eat-in kitchen, a living room, and a den, a converted garage into a den, right? Now, if I lived in this house and only lived in the kitchen, the living room, and the bathroom, and those are the only places that I live, I do have a living space. I do have some place to be, but I have not experienced the wholeness of this home because there are other rooms. There's another bathroom. There's 3 bedrooms. There's a washroom. There's a converted garage. I'm choosing to only stay in these confined areas, but there's so much more to explore about this home. But I don't because it's not in my normal pattern, or maybe I'm afraid to open that door. I'm scared of what I'm going to find behind that door. I don't even want to go down that hall. That hall is too dark. So we choose to live a very limited life and believe the lie that we are broken. You are whole. You just have not experienced or explored all of who you are. And my question is, are you going to? Because once you figure out your location, when you drop your location and you figure out your location, then and only then should you start working on a destination. And my encouragement to you would be get to know all of who you are before you go again trying to explore somebody else, trying to fix somebody else, trying to heal somebody else, trying to make somebody else life right and perfect and all the things. No, it's time to focus on you. When I started really seeking God on like, how do I get closer to you? How can I be a better person? The Lord started teaching me, you got to take better care of yourself. You get angry with your kids because you're trying to help them and support them with things, and it's like they're rejecting you. They want to do their own thing. They want to figure it out. You get upset. Why get upset when somebody don't want you to give them something? Take it someplace else. Or matter of fact, give it to yourself. It blew my own mind how I get upset when I I set boundaries to protect myself, and when I have to maintain the boundary, it hurts. If I constantly getting Cash App requests and notifications, yeah, I'm gonna help out, but not all the time. Do I want to send it all the time? Absolutely. But if I send it all the time, am I going to be encouraging my children to be responsible, to take care of themselves, to carry their own weight? No. So sometimes when you start your journey or you're heading to your destination, you have to understand you're not gonna feel like it. It's not gonna feel good. It's not gonna be all warm and fuzzy. It's gonna be a lot of anxiety, worry, fear, doubt. You have to confront the barriers that have been in your head, the things you've been avoiding. I was talking with my aunt the other day, and we were talking about how she was working on something, and she was working on something, and she went like she could have went directly to somebody to get help, but because we are so independent, and I related so much to her because I would have done the exact same thing that she did. Instead of going straight to the person that could help her and cut the chase, she went around in circles to so that like she went through other avenues. So it's like you got a straight route to get to the destination, or you got the scenic route. We know the scenic route takes longer, and sometimes it's like a detour. We don't want to do that. But she took the detour route, the scenic route, when she could have took the straight route, but she took that route because what it boiled down to was avoiding rejection. So instead of going directly to that person, she went to her own thoughts. She sat in her independent nature and mindset because that's what has protected her. That's how she has survived. And she proceeded to do it the way she always do it. Reach out, connect with people, communicate. But what ended up happening was she still ended up having to go back to that person. She couldn't get it done from her old way of taking care of it. She had to get it done from their new way of living. And I want to commend her. She's doing a great job of working on herself. So when she did go directly to this person, they were like, "Yeah, I can help you. I can get this done." It's like, wow, I went all the way around the bush when I could have just went directly to this person. But really, it was more so about that's what I've been doing. This just how I live. I want you to stop and just really stop and think and look at where are you located right now? Where have you been trying to go? Is that even where you need to go? Or do you just need to take some time in your current location and get a better understanding of where you are? Why are you like that? Why do those things trigger you like that? Why is it when you hear that song, you get emotional? Why is it when your partner does this thing, you get so angry and upset? What is that reminding you of? What from your past is constantly coming up and haunting you in your current life? We always talk about chasing the bag. We always talk about securing the bag. We always talk about you got to walk by faith and not by sight. How about figure out where you at by faith? Before you try to walk by faith, how about you heal by faith right where you are and then start walking? Because I can promise you, if you take more time to focus on you, like right now, you could tell me everybody in your life that's around you that's doing things that's causing you not to be able to do what you want in life or be where you want to be in life. And I can promise you it's not them. I'm living this reality right now. I can't blame nobody for where I am. I made decisions to get me in this situation. I've been dealing with grief. I've had to go through some things, and I realized that where I want to be in my life, I cannot take a lot of these beliefs and behaviors with me because that is not congruent with the way of life that I'm dreaming and aspiring to be. So feeling inadequate, having low self-esteem, second guessing myself, that doesn't fit in where I'm going. But I realized that that's why a lot of people fell out of my life because they did really good with me being like that. They felt very comfortable with my mom and I not getting along. They felt very comfortable with me second guessing myself and spinning my wheels. And it's not even a dig to them because I was just living like everybody else. So many of us have adapted such an apathetic, negative way of living that you can't even fathom joy, peace, and happiness as a way of being. You think people who happy are fake. You only think they fake because you being fake with your happiness. We're going to heal and grow together. I've been doing hard work like this. It's been a long time. I can't, I try to pinpoint when I started and all this stuff, but I feel like this, I started journaling. I found a journal. I was writing in one of my journals in 2002, and I was praying for God to make me better. I was praying for God to help me not be so bad and do so many bad things. And as I read that as a mother of children that age now, because at the time I was 20, getting ready to turn 21, I don't want any of my children to feel that way about themselves. That's not true. I didn't have a close connection with my mother at that time, so I getting validation from her, I wasn't even talking. I was completely estranged from my father at that time. And I had people around me who love me and care for me, and I still do, and I always have. But I talk about this because I know I'm not the only one that got all these people around them that love them but still feel unloved. Got all these people around you who care about you, but you still feel lonely and worthless. And I just want to let you know that you're not. You are valuable. We need what you have to give. That's why I'm on the show. I'm just here to remind you. I'm just here to remind you of how awesome and how amazing you are. And if nobody else ever told you you matter, you're worth it. I believe in you. I truly believe that the world is a better place because you're here. And I believe that you have something to offer us that nobody else can. And I want it. Matter of fact, I need it. And I need you to rise up and stand up in who you are in your being. Don't find so much of your value in your doing. You are much more than what you could do for people. You are your existence, your being. The God of the universe breathed life into you and you're still breathing. That's how you know you're important, necessary. You matter. All I'm asking is for you to figure out where you are. Allow the Holy Spirit to let you know. The Bible tells us in Psalm, I think it's Psalm 119, he said, your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. When I started reading my Bible, I found answers. I found relief. When I got to Psalm 27 and 10, and that thing said, when my mother and my father forsake me, the Lord will take me up. I knew right then I wasn't an orphan. But it's taken 20 years to live out and get and actually embrace that belief. It's taken 20 years for me to do that. It's taken 20 years for me to embrace that belief. It's taken 20 years for me to realize, no, I'm not an orphan. My mama had to die for me to realize I'm really not an orphan. I remember looking at her dead body on that bed and the Holy Spirit reminding me that I am with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. That's why you got to know the word so you can stand on it when you need it. Because I needed it. I'm standing on it right now. So I just encourage you wherever you are, don't give up. And you are worth you figuring out where you are. If it take you a long time to figure out where you are, take the time. You don't need to be like a bull in the china shop, bulldozing through life, hurting people and hurting yourself because you don't know what to do with the pain on the inside. Don't do that. Sit with it. Sit with it. It hurt. I promise you can handle your emotions if you sit with them. You don't have to run from them. Don't get up and go be busy. Don't cut this off because you don't want to see me crying. You need to cry. You need to let it out. I'm just being honest. Hopefully, this will encourage you to release. Oh. So when you hear me talk about my heart work process, the divine heart transplant, how we grow heart equity, that's how we grow heart equity. That's the system we use to grow heart equity, our heart work process. It's these 6 steps, and I'm going to keep talking about them because I live them. I do. That's why I'm still here. That's why I can still talk to you. I've been going through a lot. I've been going through a whole lot, just like all the rest of us. But I'm pushing through because I truly believe this is what I'm called to do. So if you needed inspiration today, just know that I'm doing this for you and for me. I'm doing this for us. I'm doing this for the ones that's going to come after us. I want to leave this world a better place than it was for me. So how do I find my location? How do I help others find their location? First thing, you got to get connected. We have a basic human need for connection. It's all a part of our development. Even children that don't make connections with their parents, they talk about premature babies and newborns born with issues. The children that usually don't make it are the ones that get the least amount of connection, the least amount of skin to skin touch and feel that love. And so when the first step you got to do to locate where you are in your life, you got to get connected. And for me, it's to Jesus Christ. To you, whatever God of your understanding, like my mom used to say. But I'll be honest, saying no other God but Jesus. I would not be able to do this with you if it wasn't for my connection. I would not have been able to make it through feeling and finding my mom a cold dead body at my house. If it wasn't for my connection with Christ, I wouldn't be able to manage not talking to people I love for reasons I don't even understand. I wouldn't be able to manage some of the turmoil I've been going through in my life if it wasn't for my connection with Christ. You got to have your faith rooted. Matthew tells us about the one who builds his house on the rock and the one who builds his house on the sand. I'm going to read that to you because that pretty much summarizes what connection means. Hallelujah, Lord. I thank you. Whew, Jesus. All right. I think it's this one. So it talks about, I'm gonna find it. I can't think of the scripture right now. Um, okay, it's Matthew chapter 7. I was in there, but I guess I missed it. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and yet it did not fall, for its foundation had been built on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. So when I think about connection, I think about being the one who built the house on the rock. That's what connection is. Because the storms and the waves of life are going to come. But you need to be connected so that the rock, that connection is like, that's like the meteorologist report, that's the lighthouse. Like if the storm is coming, you need to be with the lighthouse. You need to be protected. And when you are connected, your connection allows for you to be able to withstand whatever the storms, the winds, the wave of life that are going to come. And for you right now, it's the winds and waves of life that are coming at you, fighting against you being your authentic self. You have been the representative. You have tried to be the person your mama wanted you to be, your daddy wanted you to be, what your favorite auntie told you you should be, what your big cousin who you looked up to told you should be, what your favorite teacher showed you should be, your worst teacher told you you should be. You have all of these. You look at TV, you listen to music, you look at fashion and all the things, and you look at those things and you take from that to find out who and what you are. And what I'm saying is you got to get connected to Christ to find out who and what you are. And that connection brings about awareness, which is step two. And awareness allows you to start to realize things about you that are not you. Awareness is when you start to realize, wow, this makes me upset. Wow, when this happened, I was really angry. Wow, when this person didn't show up for me, I was very disappointed. That's what awareness does. Awareness starts to allow you to like pay attention to what's going on around you. You're not just endlessly going through life. You start to notice. I usually use this example in real estate. So you get connected, all right, talk to your realtor. Now you like you want to buy a house, but you can't save any money. So awareness is let's look at your bank statement and look at how you're spending. That's awareness. You're raising awareness. You're going back to look at. Pay attention. Awareness is you paying more attention. Many of us are kind of on autopilot going through life. Awareness is you stopping and smelling the roses, is you paying attention to the tone in the comment that was made. Um Awareness is you telling the truth. Like you notice that when this person said this, you felt something or you had a certain thought that came about. When you heard, when the teacher told you that your child was struggling in school, you noticed that you started to get hot. That's awareness. You noticed that you started to second guess yourself. That's awareness, right? But that's step two. But then now we get to acceptance. So now we start to ask questions about why did you get hot? Why did you get upset? Why did you start to second guess yourself? And when those answers start to come out, you got to accept the reality of what's in you. I often hear people say, I shouldn't think like this. I shouldn't feel like this. It don't matter what you should or shouldn't do. This is exactly what you feel. This is exactly what you're thinking. And it's a root to that. Back to connection and awareness. And so I take people through this 6 step process for every situation that they're going through, especially when you notice that it's a reaction going on in your body from the situation. Why? Because this is how we're going to heal. It is molecular. It is situation by situation, thought by thought. Doing hard work is tough, but choosing not to is worse. So we get connection, we get awareness, we get acceptance. And when you start to accept things for what they are, it is very easy to be very critical of yourself. And that's why step four is critical. You got to forgive. You got to forgive yourself. You got to forgive others. And you have to do it consistently, frequently. Every time you are aware of some trigger and you have to accept the trueness, the reality of this situation. Now it's time to forgive because there's something about this that's giving you an adverse reaction. There's some forgiveness that needs to be done there. And I talk when I was in a toxic relationship, When I was much younger, I would go through this cycle in this relationship. I would get connected every time he make me mad. I go pray and talk to God, ask God to help me, and then I'll be aware of the things I need to work on and change, and with myself and in my relationship with him, and then I would accept it, and then I would forgive him, and never really forgave myself. I guess I never really forgave him, but I said I forgive. I would take him back, and then we go through this whole cycle again. But how we break that cycle with those 4 steps, we go to step 5. And I think 5 is so amazing to me. 5 is the number of grace. And Jesus died to give us grace so he could save us. And he saved us by faith through grace. And the 5th step is make a decision. And this is the scary part about getting your GPS location. Right? Because when you make a decision, you cutting off all the other excuses you've been making to stay stuck where you are in this cycle. You got to make a decision that is adverse, that is opposite to the choices you're currently making, so that you can break this toxic pattern you've been in. So step 5 is decision. And it's critical. Because you're drawing a line in the sand. I'm not going back there. So if I'm not going back there, this is the direction I'm going. Oh God, this is scary, but I got to do it. And step six, take action. Now you just got to do it, which is, I think, the hardest part. Because we stay in our head, we will be faithed, pray, worship, do all that. We'll get the revelations, be willing to forgive people, write out the plans. We be like Habakkuk, write the vision, make it plain, and don't do nothing. And sit right there. That's just sitting on whatever God telling you to do. That's sitting on the directions to get to the destination he telling you to go. Because you so stuck in the past. You so disconnected. And disconnection brings about dis-ease. And it's time for us to heal. So I encourage you as you go throughout this week, ask yourself, where am I? And just honestly write down the answer. I know some people are like, I don't write. It's homework. I do give that to my clients. I don't care if you don't write or not, because they always get a revelation that blows their mind. I'm like, I told you. But even if you don't write, do a voice note. Ask yourself the question, where am I? And I'm encouraging you to be kind enough to yourself and patient enough with yourself to really receive the answer, because that's awareness. And from there, you can learn acceptance, forgiveness. You can make a decision and you can take action towards the life that you want to live, not the life that you feel like you ain't got no choice but to live. You have options. You're loved. You're valuable. And you matter. And this is how we grow heart equity: personal, relational, and financial wealth through authentic living. I'm thankful for y'all. I'm thankful for being here. Thankful for the space. Remember, the HeartLine with Adelai Brown. I am requesting that you like, you subscribe, you share, you comment. If you have questions or concerns, you can go to my website, um, addiebb.com. You can go to my Linktree / the Heart Connections. You can also email me any questions, any comments, any feedback. Email heartcoachtalk@gmail.com. Heartcoachtalk@gmail.com. We are a heart, we are a tribe. We are growing together. This is our little village. This is our little healing village. I welcome you into the healing village. I welcome you into the heart tribe that's in this village. And we're going to continue to grow and heal together. I'm excited to connect with you all over the world. And I want to hear about what you found out when you check your location. I want to hear about what connection, awareness, acceptance, forgiveness, decision, and taking action. What does that look like in your life? And just know that you're not alone. You are not alone. You're not alone, and you are valuable. You are loved. You are worthy. Okay? All right. Well, that's all I got for you today. I love you. This is Adelaide Brown, your heart coach. Remember, when you heal your heart, you transform the world. I love y'all. Have a wonderful day.